Section 17 of a traveller's narrative written to illustrate the episode of the Bab. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Nicholas James Bridgewater. A Traveller's Narrative written to illustrate the episode of the Bab by Abdul-Baha Abbas, translated by Edward Granville Browne. Section 17. Many sects and diverse tribes rest tranquil in the shadow of the King, and of these sects one is this people. Were it not best that the lofty endeavour and magnanimity of those who surround the King should be so witnessed that they should be scheming for all factions to come under the King's shadow, and that they should govern amidst all with justice? To put in force the ordinances of God is unmixed justice, and with this all are satisfied. Nay, the ordinances of God ever have been and will be the instrument and means for the protection of his creatures. As he saith, exalted is he, and in retaliation ye have life, O people of understanding. Note Quran 2:175. Endnote. But it is far from the justice of His Majesty the King that, for the fault of one person, a number of persons should become the objects of the scourges of wrath. God, glorious is His mention, saith, none shall bear the burden of another. Quran 6:164, 17:16, 35:19, 39:9, 53:39. Endnote. And this is sufficiently evident that in every community there have been and will be learned and ignorant, wise and foolish, sinful and pious. And to commit abominable actions is far from the wise man. For the wise man either seeketh the world or abandoneth it. If he abandoneth it, assuredly he will not regard aught save God, and apart from this, the fear of God will withhold him from committing forbidden and culpable actions. And if he seeketh the world, he will assuredly not commit deeds which will cause and induce the aversion of God's servants, and produce horror in those who are in all lands, but rather will he practice such deeds as will cause the adhesion of mankind. So it hath been demonstrated that detestable actions have been and will be wrought only by ignorant persons. We ask God to keep His servants from regarding aught but Him, and to bring them near to Him. Verily, He is potent over all things. Glory be to Thee, O God, my God! Thou hearest my groaning, and seest my state and my distress and my affliction, and knowest what is in my soul. If my cry be sincerely for Thy sake, then draw thereby the hearts of Thy creatures unto the horizon of the heaven of Thy recognition, and turn the King unto the right hand of the throne of Thy name, the Merciful. Then bestow on him, O my God, the blessing which hath descended from the heaven of Thy favour and the clouds of Thy mercy, that he may sever himself from that which he hath, and turn toward the region of Thy bounties. O Lord, help him to support the oppressed amongst thy servants, and to raise up thy word amidst thy people. Then aid him with the hosts of the unseen and the seen, that he may subdue cities in thy name, and rule over all who are upon the earth, by thy power and authority, O thou in whose hand is the kingdom of creation. And verily, thou art he who ruleth at the beginning and in the end. There is no God save thee, the potent, the mighty, the wise. They have misrepresented matters before the presence of the king in such a way that if any ill deed proceed from any one of this sect, they account it as a part of the religion of these servants. But, by God, beside whom there is none other God, this servant hath not sanctioned the committing of sins, much less that whereof the prohibition hath been explicitly revealed in the Book of God. God hath prohibited unto men the drinking of wine, and the unlawfulness thereof hath been revealed and recorded in the Book of God. Note Quran 592. End note. And the doctors of the age, may God multiply the like of them, have unanimously prohibited unto men this abominable action, yet withal do some commit it. Now, the punishment of this action falls on those heedless persons, while those manifestations of the glory of sanctity continue holy and undefiled. Unto their sanctity all being, whether of the unseen or the seen, testifieth. Yea, these servants of God regard God as doing what he pleaseth and ordering what he willeth. Note Quran 2:254, 3:35, 22:14, 19. End note. There is no retreat nor way of flight for any one save unto God, and no refuge nor asylum but in him. And at no time hath the cavilling of men, whether learned or unlearned, been a thing to rely on, nor will it be so. The very prophets, who are the pearls of the ocean of unity and the recipients of divine revelation, have ever been the objects of men's aversion and cavilling. Much more these servants. Even as he saith, every nation schemed against their apostle to catch him, and they contended with falsehood therewith to refute the truth. Note Quran 45. End note. So likewise he saith, there came not unto them any apostle, but they mocked at him. Note Quran 15:11, 36-29. End note. Consider the appearance of the seal of the prophets. Note Muhammad. End note. The king of the elect, the soul of the worlds be his sacrifice. After the dawning of the Sun of Truth from the horizon of the Hijaz, what wrongs befell that manifestation of the might of the Lord of Glory at the hands of the people of error. So heedless were men that they were wont to consider the vexation of that Holy One as one of the greatest of good works, and as the means of approaching God Most High. For in the first years the doctors of that age, whether Jews or Christians, turned aside from that sun of the highest horizon, and, at the turning aside of those persons, all, whether humble or noble, girt up their loins to quench the radiance of that light of the horizon of ideals. The names of all were recorded in books. Amongst them were Wahb ibn Rahib, Ka'b ibn Ashraf, Abdullah ibn Ubay, and the like of these persons, till at length the matter reached such a point that they convened a meeting to take counsel as to the shedding of the most pure blood of that Holy One, as God, glorious is his mention, hath declared. And when those who misbelieved plotted against these to confine thee, or slay thee, or drive thee out, and they plotted, and God plotted, and God is the best of plotters. Note Quran 8:30. So likewise he saith, and if their aversion be grievous unto thee, then if thou art able to seek out a hole down into the earth, or a ladder up into the sky, that thou mayest show them a sign, do so. But if God pleased, he would assuredly bring them all to the true guidance. Be not therefore one of the ignorant. Note Quran 6:35. By God, the hearts of those near unto God are scorched at the purport of these two blessed verses, but the like of these matters, certainly transmitted to us, are blotted out of sight, and men have not reflected. Neither do reflect what was the reason of the turning aside of God's servants at the appearance of the daysprings of divine lights. So too, before the seal of prophets, consider Jesus, the son of Mary, after the appearance of that manifestation of the Merciful One, all the doctors charged that quintessence of faith with misbelief and rebelliousness, until at length, with the consent of Anas, who was the chief of the doctors of that age, and likewise Caiaphas. Note John 11:49-50, 18:13-28, Acts 4:6-10. Who was the most learned of the judges, they wrought upon that Holy One that which the pen is ashamed and unable to repeat. The earth with its amplitude was too strait for him, until God took him up into the heaven. But were a detailed account of the prophets to be submitted, it is feared that weariness might result. Section 17.